please take us to space with you, man. We'd love to take our strains with you. Well, more so because we want to go with you, but. That's one of my things. When I was a kid, that was my first thing I wanted to be, was to be an astronaut.
For real?
Because I just wanted to be alone in space, away from everyone.
You saying that he could drop something fire, like shooting stars?
Ooh.
With like space and stuff, you know what I mean?
That's some crazy Milky Way.
Damn. Okay. Time out.
It's like, we can't leave. This is
We're
too
like,
much.
damn, that sounds good as
This
shit.
is too much.
Damn, what are you gonna talk about? Anti-gravity cannabis, man? Come on, man. Grown in space. Shit, hydroponics reverse.
Yeah, he
When
said
the
that's a
water's,
lot
like,
of weight
flowing.
reduction right there.
Can you imagine seeing that shit?
Nice.
Just seeing the plant right there and the water's just like flowing in it, dude.
That'd be
It's not even just like, it's not flying, it's just like floating. It's just, you just see it levitating. The water in the soil.
Container.
And you can just go in and like etch your soil and just move the soil. You know what I mean?
Watch it absorb the nutrients.
Dude, we could be on the
mean?
next frontier, gentlemen. On the next space exploration of cannabis discovery. Said, hey, if Trump, you get in office, please don't forget about cannabis, please.
Okay. So for UCC today, we're going to be doing a podcast that's based around Sepaloni Pulu, one of our own.
Yes.
Using the full name, brother.
I love it.
Had to get proper with
I
you.
appreciate it.
The government.
I really respect that. I really appreciate
We have to let them know who you are.
Yeah, let them know where you're from, bro. Yeah, get into it real quick. Let 'em know where you're from.
What's up, guys? Sepaloni Pulu in the house. Here with the guys, man, at UCC, rocking it, rocking the brand, rocking the culture, rocking with the community. Been on the cannabis journey for a couple of years now. Super grateful for the plants led me, man. Has led me to a bunch of dope people. Has given me new heightened awareness, man, and a lot of creativity. Gang. It's allowed me to introspect and do a lot of stuff. Born and raised in Salt Lake City, Utah. Shout out to Salt Lake City,
shout
801.
To the SLC.
You already
That
know
801.
Wasatch Mountains in the house we go. WC, shout out to the alleyway. Anyways, but yeah, discovered cannabis not too long ago with a couple homies, man. Later on, before I discovered it the first time.
Okay, dang. Let's freaking take it back then. All right, let's freaking grew up in SLC.
But 801,
Grew up in SLC. All right, all right. When did you first come across the plant?
Oh snap! Coming across the plant, man. It's an interesting one. My brother was one of the first people that brought cannabis into the house. When we were, I would say in high school.
Okay.
I was about in high school, and I knew a bunch of the football players were smoking weed, man, and I was a goody good kid. Now, I mean goody good. When you would ask me to slough with you, I would look at you and be like, damn, you are dumb. You know, because I thought when you sloughed, you were dumb. Sorry if you sloughed. It is what it is. You know what I'm saying? Skills pay the bills.
Don't slough high school, kids.
Yeah, don't slough. But anyways, I knew a lot of the homies was getting high as hell, and then I knew what the smell smelled like. And then my brother brought it home one time, and then he tried to offer it to me, and I actually slapped it out of his hand. And then it wasn't until a couple of years later. Yeah, and then I never came across it, and it was a couple of years later that a friend did not want me to try cannabis, and I really wanted to. And
So you had a friend that was against.
Yeah.
Was he like best friend at the time? Was he like the one homie or like?
It was more like an ex.
Oh,
yeah.
That's different than a homie, dog.
Yeah.
That
Ex,
homie.
all right.
Sorry, before my ex is like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Or my girl. But yeah, like the homie, probably just did. The homie didn't like it, and at the time, I guess I'll just say my ex. Fuck it, right? Yeah, at the time when I wanted to try cannabis, they were against it, and damn, I don't even know if I should go into detail about this.
Hey, man.
As much as you want, that's...
Yeah, keep
Hey,
it
you
live,
too.
baby.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, you're good.
Yeah.
Hey, skim over the details.
Yeah.
No worries.
Yeah, we'll skim over it. But basically, what had happened is that night when I had first tried cannabis, I really wanted to try it and smoke it. I had tried a bong, a pipe,
You weren't scared
and
at all?
a joint for my first time. And lo and behold, I shit bricks out of my mouth, out of my eyes. Tears were coming out. I don't remember. I was like touching the mirror. My fingers were like, I was drooling. I remember like crying. All my feelings. I remember knocking out and then waking back up. And then
Damn,
eating like
dog.
10 double cheeseburgers all at once.
Holy, went all out.
Holy
Yeah,
shit.
and then that first
Okay,
time
okay.
I was like, yo, you know what? This is actually not pleasant. And then I stopped 4 years after that. And then
4 years after.
Yeah.
Just
Oh no,
completely-
stop. Not 4 years after that.
I was like, what
I
the
stopped
fuck?
right after that. That
Okay.
first time consuming, and that whole experience was like, oh, this is kind of rough
Too
on
much.
the brain. I didn't feel good on the tummy. You know what I mean? I was being remembered what I was like saying the day before. Like, yeah, you were crying, and I was like, oh snap.
Yeah.
I was vulnerable. You saw me vulnerable, you know what I mean? And
Damn,
like,
okay.
you know, for guys, you know what I mean? A lot, you know, we can get drunk and stuff, but a lot of the times it's like you want to be in control, you know what I mean? That's one of those times that
Yeah.
I wasn't in control. But hey,
Environment.
but it comes, you know, that's how it is
setting.
with a lot of us, right? When we try cannabis, it's not like we're in control. It's not like you're like, here, sit down. Let's
Yeah,
try
it's so
this.
interesting.
Right? Everyone has their own experience. You try from your uncle's
Like, hit
stash,
more, hit
or
more.
you know your dad's like offering to you, and you're like, wait, what? You know, who knows,
Yeah,
right?
it's all
But
different.
that was my first come across cannabis, and it was pretty crazy. But I knew that from that initial moment, it was like stored somewhere in my body.
See,
It didn't leave. There
Yeah.
was some
Okay,
there was
so-
some
You had
form
a
that
pocket
stayed there.
that-
Yeah.
See, I think it's pretty crazy when you compare what your first experience was when you start talking like with a couple of like the OGs that we have around the community, or like hearing some of their stories. Like they weren't sure if they got high the first time. I feel like
That was me.
cannabis has gotten to a point now that like how much we've fine-tuned like what genetics are getting pushed around, the storage and like the capacity that cannabis has really like evolved to. It's almost impossible to have like a non-active effect the first time with cannabis now. I feel like you get fucking smacked.
I feel the
Like,
same way.
And the
Plus, I
craziest,
think a big part of that is access to different things like vape pens
Yeah.
and disposables through the
Yeah.
roof right now.
Yeah,
versus, like,
concentrates get you way higher.
when like we were young, like you know what I mean. Like obviously extracts weren't
I think
nearly as evolved and like known as they are. So
it was like Indian
But-
hashish.
and it was wild 'cause when I first
That was
tried
it.
it, I was like, it was after 20. It was
Okay.
like in like after even college, like 21, 20. It was like 22 is when I first tried it.
concentrate?
No, like weed.
we
Oh,
Like cannabis.
shit.
Yeah, it was like my
Yeah.
first time. That's how like
and then you
relative
said-
it is. You
so
know what I mean?
after
Wow.
so after trying it when you were like 21 or 2, you said
Yeah.
you took like a 4-year break after.
Yeah, and then it wasn't until like when I was on my dance journey, when I took on dancing, that my big mentor, shout out to the big homie, man, Boom Jeff, man.
Big
Shout out
shout
to
out
you.
Boom
You know,
Jeff.
Let's go.
Boom X,
Let's go. That's
Boom
the
crew
goat.
in the house. You know, big homie was like, we were just dancing, and then he like whipped it out and was just like, yo, you know what I mean? Like, this is what keeps this creativity going. This is what keeps. And I was like, whoa, what? Homie, what is this crazy? And then I tried it again, but this time it was with peace. You know what I mean? It's
Better
like, yeah,
set and
soak it
setting.
in, take your time, be cool
Yeah.
with it, you know.
Yeah.
I was able to tap into a whole fruition of like emotions, you know what I mean?
Were you dancing with him when you tried?
Yeah, yep. I tried dancing
so
with
having
it.
an outlet too right away
Was insane.
you
It
kinda
doubled.
like having to do
Yeah,
something. You know,
it
It's not
doubled
like
on it
You
quickly.
could go just sink in the couch. You know,
Nope.
It's like you.
And it
You
helped
there?
that the homie
That's
fell in love with
huge.
sativa too. He hated.
huge.
He didn't like indicas. We appreciated the indica, but you know, for the right reasons. But we were on the go a lot of the time as dancers. You know, we would like wake up at like 7, or we would wake up like teach at 7, drive 2 hours like Idaho, teach from like 10 all the way to like 11 at night. You know what I'm saying? But then right after we'd
Yeah.
go smoke at the hotel, you know what I mean, and go smoke outside, and then we'd go cut music until 2 in the morning, sleep till it's like 6, teach at 7, But it was like when we would hit a bowl, it'd be like, but it wasn't like it wasn't like, I don't know what other people would experience on other drugs, but it wasn't like a fast hit. But it was like more like, oh, this can restart us. You know what I mean? It can help us.
Yeah,
relax.
recharge.
It does. Yeah, like a recharge. You know, not like a jittery, like where we wake up and we're like, oh, we were able to function. We were able to teach. We were able to have patience. Not that to say even if we were without it, we weren't. But it allowed us that assistance. You know what I'm saying? So it was great.
So what I refer to that as, like, I'm another person that taps into the flow state is what I refer to it as.
It definitely is.
It really helps you embody your truest light at certain times. Like when you're feeling down and you're feeling low, or you feel like you need that little extra spark of creativity, it's been astronomical for me personally for so many different attributes of me tapping into like myself and like the way that my body feels, my self-intuition. Like that's what's so unique about cannabis too, is like how many different applications there are for cannabis. If you have neuropathy, there's a specific strain that can help you. If you have PTSD, there's a specific strain that can help you. If you want to get really creative and like you want to tap into more of just like a peaceful state of mind of creativity, boom, it's there. If you want to relax at the end of the day and you need to crash out because you're overstimulated, guess what? There's another genetic that proposes a specific expression that offers that application.
A different terpene profile for a different profile of a person.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what's fun about cannabis is like you get human design is meant for experiences, and cannabis comes with a unique experience for each strain. And each strain has a different minor cannabinoid and major cannabinoid composition. And when you look at like terpene expression and terpene composition, no terpene works individually. They all work composed as like a symphony. And that's what makes, when you compare a GMO to like a granddaddy perp, complete different style of terp profile, but they're under the same family. You know what I mean? It's
or something that could, on the other hand of that, something that could be on the same terp profile and it's still really different, and you're like, well, the terpenes are the same,
similar,
you know? But it's still
great
like
point.
You know,
great point.
So it goes both ways.
100%. Yeah. I think talking about this is, let's bring it to Sep, like profiles. Like tell us maybe a story dancing.
Oh snap!
So like you brought up, you started smoking, dancing pretty much. So
man.
Like, maybe what strain, if you knew what strain or something, like a crazy high, crazy high story and like a crazy dance battle.
Where you were like, oh my god, did I tap into
we know your dance. We know your dancing and how the extent of it. Let them know.
It's a whole different realm. Like I'm sure you guys know when with like DJing and music with athletics, you know what I mean, physical, you know, with the arts and EDM, it's the same thing with dancing. You tap into a flow state of like different realms. You're able to see your body in a different state. You're able to like take yourself out and look at different things, you know, you see things. But a lot of the times dancing was crazy because we would be teaching in front of like 50 students at one time, you know what I mean, and it'd be like, should we hit it? It's like, yep, we're gonna hit it. And then it would tap us into this, like, we'd walk into this room with this like aura of like, we are gonna seize the day. You know what I mean? These kids, they're gonna deserve and they're gonna get the very best of us and nothing short of it.
Set that
you know what I mean?
Uh.
And like the strains that we were hitting, man, we were hitting some like super silver haze, man. We were hitting some like Blue Dream, you know what I mean?
Okay.
We were hitting some
classics.
Yeah, just some classics, you know what I mean? Some of the green cracks, you know what I mean? Some different phenos, you know, those from one of the old homies with the plug. He had a little dog, man. It was really nice. He would come out to the parking lot and he would just walk his dog and then just say hello and just throw us the back. And we're like, oh, okay. Anyways, shout out to him because they were really good. You know what I mean? So, yes, the plug with the pug. But it was wild because we were, personally, I was like, it was one of those things where would we smell, you know, being in the state that we're in, being in the county that we're in, being around all these high school kids and younger kids and adults where their noses are so fresh. And if your nose isn't so fresh and you are part of the culture, don't be afraid. You know what I mean? You know who you are. You know what I'm saying? Come out. Be about it.
So you smell the roses. Yeah, you smoking during all this. Do you know?
We would have to smoke.
Are they
far
saying
away
strains?
yeah.
Are they like, hey, like, do you want to hit this? This is like what he's saying, green crack.
And it'd be hard though.
Before,
Yeah,
you know what
yeah,
I mean? Where they, like,
definitely before we would probably drive, you know what I mean, and then we would like change our shirts, you know, spray up before, change our hats, literally like at the gas station that's 10 minutes before, then drive all the way, that's 10 minutes, and then we'd like get some gum, get some mints, you know what I mean, get the eye drops, you know what I mean.
No, mijo, we're talking about culture shit.
Oh shoot.
Like, did your big homie be like,
Sorry, I thought you meant.
hey, this is green crack, big dog. This is what you're smoking on. Was your
weed
big
culture,
homie
like,
very
No,
like...
it was like,
just like, hey, here's a pen.
no,
like,
no, they didn't even
everything's
know.
kind of the same.
Yeah, they didn't even
Samesies,
know. Yeah,
samesies, yeah.
it was kind of,
okay.
and it was kind of hard
No,
because
cool,
like you
cool.
go
Yeah,
off
that's how
what
it
you
was.
like felt like a little bit. You know, if you felt like someone told you it was a sativa, you're like, all right, I'm probably gonna feel like
Feel
it's a
buzzy,
sativa, even though it might have not been a sativa. You know
With
what I
that
mean?
placebo
Exactly,
effect on
but
it.
that there's that placebo, right? It's you know what I mean. So there was always that like that other
Am I
thought.
feeling this?
Yeah, you know what I mean. But then I was like, you know what? It is because if I was off of it,
You're
I
like,
actually
is
wouldn't
this
act
a
like this.
sativa?
You know what I mean? So
No.
exactly, you know, and you're like fighting to stay yawning, but a lot of the times it wasn't that. It was a lot of like, yo, we in this. It was a lot of times it was opening the door at 3 a.m. in the parking lot, and we're like dancing like crazy. You know what I mean? We're
Crunking.
sweating, you know, and then go eat Denny's at 4 a.m.
Dude, that's awesome.
That's
Some
a
munchies,
fucking
you know what I
sick-
That's
mean?
the vibe, dude.
You know, and then but we put a phone there and we record because we need to remember the night before what just happened.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because we were gonna forget because we're in that trance, like y'all said. You know what I mean? So being
There you go.
like smoking
Okay.
before like those events, man. Like one of the craziest experiences was like microdosing a little bit. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Psychedelic.
Y'all, yeah, some psychedelics,
Mushrooms.
some shrooms,
Psilocybin.
with a little bit of cannabis, and it was about 15-minute drive towards the studio, and the homie's just looking at me, and he's like, "Yo, we hitting this," and I was like, "God, let's go." And then you know we just pick out. Now, mind you, like a lot of the homies, like we don't grab one and choose it, like in a sense, like we pass the bag around, and then we'll just choose one in the
Pinch
sense
it?
of what's calling to us, which piece is calling to us. And we'll just hold it in our hand.
Oh,
and then we'll
shit.
just sit in the car, and then we'll just wait till each person grabs yours, and then we'll just
Oh, like
fist
a
it like
nug.
this, and we'll just hold our hands like this, and we'll just close our eyes. And then once you feel that release from everyone, it's like, then we just look at each other, and then we just pop it. And then that's on our way to the studio, right? And then after, and then we smoke, and then we get there, and then it just fucking hits me like I feel like Yoda all of a sudden, you know. And then I feel like I look at Master Shredder. And I see my homie just like smiling over there, just like this. In the corner, you know what I mean? Just, dude,
go.
and it just felt like two zingers, you know what I mean? Just like
Yeah,
zinging.
connected.
Yeah, zinging
No,
the whole
100%.
time, bro. And it's like 75 kids right there, you know what I mean? And I'm just like blabbering my mouth. I'm talking about the universe, and there's no one else like you. What's your name? What's your name? Allie? There's no other gonna be Allie like you. There's never gonna be another Allie like you. Never. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? And you know, and it's like things like that, right? And it's walking around the room, right? It's walking around the room. It's like shaking them up. It's waking them up, right? That's what I'm saying.
Wake up!
That's what I'm saying. It was
like
that,
scared
but,
of shit.
but it's like the cannabis and the shrooms. Yeah, exactly. It is.
You're there, David Goggins.
Exactly. You
You're
know what I'm
there,
saying?
David Goggins.
It was wild because
Oh,
I just look at the
no.
homie and I'm just like, we're just smiling because he's just like this, and I'm like, and he's just, we're zinging, because he looks at me. And I'm like, I'm zinging, because that's what we say. Are you zinging? I'm zinging too.
Yeah,
That's like
yeah.
our key word, you know. And then boom, music plays, start dancing, start teaching. Class teachers wouldn't even given a second thought of what the hell we were on, because they thought that was just our personality. And
Right.
lo and behold, it actually is. You know what I mean?
Right, just
it just
blossomed.
emphasized,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying?
You felt
were able-
empowered.
Yeah, by the students and then the homie just being right there, because we were in this walk.
Curating an experience,
You know
bro.
what I
You
mean?
were
I
in
think-
an
wow.
experience.
I
in
think
your
that goes to
fucking
show
shit.
though
Wow,
how
man.
important it is to have close people
Yeah, no,
around you
100.
during that time, right? Because it's like in that same situation, if you don't feel good and your homies aren't there like smiling right in the
100,
corner
100,
looking at you like, hey,
100,
let's
100,
go
100,
with
100,
positive
100,
energy,
100.
like
Yeah,
that's
if
where
your
it gets
homie
bad.
was
So
if
like
your homie was
big
paranoid in
props
the
for
corner,
you.
Exactly.
Finding
had
the
a
good
way different
dance.
experience.
Exactly.
Big props finding the good dance homies.
Dude, it was wild because every single time, and then from there we were able to like, others were coming out of the woodworks, you know, other dancers, and then it turns into like, oh, I smoke too, and then you find out it's a parent, and you're like, wait,
Yeah.
but they've never talked about it with anyone else because they know that you do, but they're comfortable
But
with
it connects you with them
exactly.
so much
and they see
stronger.
the professional level that you're able to work on, and it's like, oh, you know what I mean? You've danced around my kid, you've come and played sports, you know what I mean? You've operated, it's amazing because you're able to break that stigma.
Yeah, it changes
you know what
that
I mean?
stigma. Hey,
Exactly.
Take a hit of this 33 real quick.
Hey,
Let me know where you're at. Let me know where you're
Shout
at.
out to the 33.
That gelato dirty.
Sherbinsky.
I don't know, dude. I don't know. It was the shirt, dude.
Attaboy,
The man.
Sherbinsky. You
The outer
curated.
space-
Hold on.
the outer
This is a
space
little
cat
little
salad.
product review from Sep. Sep, how's that?
And I believe, hey, this is Dragonfly, right?
That's
yeah.
doing good, man.
Dragonfly flower.
Dragonfly.
Where you at? What's up, bro?
Where you at?
Tastes great, man. I love that gelato.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Any like certain notes?
You know, the only note that I'm getting is it tastes great. you know,
Got you. No, I'm just,
it's giving what I feel like gelato is supposed to give. You know, that gelato feel.
Really nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What about you? What about you, Wes?
It's a gelato feel.
I'm still trying to get familiar with the gelato because I'm not gonna lie, man. I've had some gelato in the streets.
Yeah,
and
and
it looked
you're
like
like, is
some
this
really
gelato?
white, purple, and it was really milky. But then it's like obviously different phenos. You know what I mean? But it's really nice to have like a nice
In my opinion, I think it's a good gelato.
gelato.
Yeah.
You know
I
what
think
I'm saying?
I think
What
it
notes do you get?
So me, like the front note is like a sour berry, and then it goes into like a floral note.
Mm.
A sour berry floral note.
Sour berry
Okay,
floor.
sour.
That's what I get.
Fuck. That's great. But I would say cannabis definitely helps, man, on that dance aspect. And also, like any other athlete, recovery, man. Like recovery at the end of the day, when you know your muscles have been overworked and overstretched. You know what I mean? That part where you can just the mind can relax all the nerves in your foot. You know, the mind can relax the nerves in your back and your ankles, and you're still able to operate. You know what I'm saying? That's the biggest difference. Because now, when you're recovering, you can't really. Because now you're recovering. You know what I mean? You can't really operate. But the cannabis allows you to recover and still operate and provide that alleviation for you. You know what I mean?
Going back to the gelato 33.
Guys, we have
Tastes like,
Superman.
yeah, I'd say berry with a earthy end note to it.
Yeah, it's like that herbal floral note almost.
At
I
the
get
end.
floral.
At the
yeah.
end.
I get floral more than earth.
I'd say it's pretty earthy, but yeah, I don't know. I got towards the end.
I don't know.
We should look it up. I'm trying to find my phone. It'd be nice to see because there's a general consensus for gelato, and I want to see how. Because I know gelato is a mix of zeros and.
The thing, I don't get any like cream or like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Candy, if you want to call it candy or cream, sweet. I don't get any of that.
I got a
Sweet
berry.
vanilla mint.
It's like there's like a sweet vanilla. See, I got more of the vanilla. There was like a weird it's close
Yeah,
to it. but
vanilla, I
couldn't
could see
describe it.
that.
That's what I got. I mean, if I could describe it, that's the word I would give it because I can't think of another word.
Here, actually, let's go 33. Let's be more specific.
Oh shit. Probably gonna be like no vanilla.
Yeah, dude.
Citrus,
Hey.
vanilla, pepper.
Dang.
I
Okay.
thought I got more pepper.
Yeah, it's really high.
So that's
The
what pepper would.
caryophyllene, I know for sure.
So that's
but
what a
it's like-
pepper. If that's what pepper is, then that's a really peppery.
See,
You
I-
want
Oh,
to
the
taste some
caryophyllene.
pepper, dude?
See, this is black pepper, the Panama red, the dab earlier, red pepper.
That
You
shit,
know?
yeah, it's
But
more
they're
like
both peppery.
spicy, like
Yeah.
nutmeg or cinnamon,
Yes, I didn't get any vanilla.
spice chai.
I'll say that. I'd say if I was chasing that, Rainbow Belts has been the better end of like that creamy
yeah.
vanilla.
See,
No,
that's what I
That's
associate
kind of the
vanilla
chase.
and cream. Me too. Especially on the cure.
this man knows. This man knows, guys.
Okay, back to
Love to get
back
some
to
of that.
Sep.
Sorry.
What was I?
What the fuck you doing, boy?
Oh man.
We going with the flow over here, man. Down at
It's
UCC.
the truth.
Hell yeah. We
So
love it.
let's bring it maybe to culture.
Culture.
When were you kind of put on a lot of cannabis culture? You started
And who put you
maybe
on?
deciding on your own you wanted to like seek out certain things. Like what did that look like for you?
Yeah, man. After a certain period of time when dancing came to like a halt during like the pandemic, I feel like that was a lot of a wake up call for a lot of people. Pre-pandemic, it was easy for kind of people to hustle and make money, get your business up. 2018, 2017, right? Entrepreneurship, social media and stuff, and then bam, you got the pandemic that hits. Had a big huge event that took place in my life that kind of caused me to basically kind of like look at things differently. And during that time, cannabis saved me, and it not only saved me, in return I felt like I owed it a favor. And I was like, you know what, like, let's dive in deeper. And lo and behold, there was a whole world I didn't know that was behind cannabis, man. Like science-wise, culture-wise, history-wise, fashion-wise, music-wise. And you hear about it in the news, and you hear about it in music, and you hear about it 245. I was like in 6th grade hearing that song. I didn't know what the hell he was talking about. You know what I mean? But that's culture for you. You know what I'm saying? Cannabis and weed. But after finding that, like, there's different states and people, like, not only like the fact that there's profit, but the fact that it's a plant. You know what I'm saying? Like strawberries, tomatoes, like it's just like watermelons. And then when I found out that part, because me being like a lot of people. So
is this you just like forums?
Yeah. I full on full speed
YouTube,
ahead because I was like, you know what? Because I'm consuming this, and then the craziest part is that it was then I was like, I wanted to move out of the state to go find a job in cannabis, and this was like 4 years ago. And the reason why I delved in so deep is because, like I said, it helped create this introspection into my life at the time that I feel like I wouldn't have had. I might have, I was drinking, but I could have, turned into a drunk and drove my car down the hill.
For
you know
sure,
what I'm saying?
You never know.
Like you could have bumped a bump off the homie, and then it could have been something else, right? Like these events can cause us to turn to those different things. You know what I mean? And I was grateful cannabis was that outlet, and I didn't go any further.
For sure, dude.
And if you did, like, hey, it's all good. Seek the help, do what you got to do. But for me, cannabis allowed me to be that vessel. You know what I mean? Yeah. To continue to be like, I don't know if you guys heard of that quote, like, your name is really never dead until the last person says it.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like, until the last person says Gabriel Flores. That's when you're truly, you know what I mean?
Truly dead.
Truly dead. But it's never dead. You always be living, always remember, you know what I mean? Somewhere you always show up, you know what I mean?
No, always see UCC.
And that's how it is with the plant.
Stone,
you know what I mean?
boy.
Exactly. And that's how I see the plant. The plant is like a tree, and we're just the branches that like stem off, and it's like a full cycle. So when I was introduced to it, I went on YouTube. And more so, I wanted to get into the science of it. You know what I mean? Because I was like, once I found out it was a plant, and then once I found out that, like, you could learn about it and you could get different effects from it, that's when I was like, oh, wait, what? You could. And that's when the classification, that's when the strain studies, that's when the being introduced to, like, homies that knew different strains. And then eventually just having a homie, and I was like, yo, can you get your med card, bro? And he did, because that was the big homie. And through him I was like, yo, get this straight. And he'd get it at Dragonfly, he'd get it at, and that's when I would start trying these different strains, and then just being like, okay. And then I would just start still studying at my house, and then eventually, I started getting into the industry from there.
How are you consuming with joints?
I was glad to be part of, like, the people that didn't just, like, jump on the bandwagon of, like, dispensaries and stuff. I was glad I was one of those can boys, rolling up the resin balls in your pipe, like,
You
like
didn't do
hard.
that?
No, I did that. I was one of those. I'm glad I was part of that.
Oh, hell
you know
yeah,
what I mean? The culture, like scraping the bowl, like when you don't have nothing, nickels and dimes, like begging for a dime sack. You know what I mean? And they're like, sorry, can't do a dime sack, and you're like, dude, it's $10. Come on, man,
bro.
You don't want $10, and you're like, it's money,
It's right here.
And then they're like, nah, and you're like, and then now you're like, gotta go ask sis, yo, can I have another 10? They only take a dub, you know. They're like, dang, no, you got a 30. All right, he'll ask the other, and then
That's when I just
but
sneak
then-
into my sister's room and
yeah,
still in there.
and then you start to realize that
Yes.
oh wait, like this is the culture, this is what it's been and how it's been forever, and you start to realize that like the black market is the market, you know, like the culture. That's where the fashion is being made, you know. It's not going to be mainstream, you know, because it started from the underground prohibition, right? 1930s, pre-1930s, right? But delving into the history, delving into, you know, the discovery of cannabis, right? And paying homage to that aspect of the plant before there were Mylar bags and before there were, you know, trap boys. There were scientists in, you know, Jerusalem trying to dissect, you know, and isolate, right, these cannabinoids, right, and things like that. So through that introduction of that event, it was able to create this timeline of events leading to where I'm at now. Consuming, researching, connecting, networking, still maintaining, and the palate's still fresh, which is why I'm grateful that I'm young. Like I tried it when I was older, like into my 20s, that allows me to still live and go on in life and discover more. You know, sometimes people are like, yo, I've tapped out, man. No, I've done all those strains. I'm like, no, you haven't. You know, I'm telling you, there's so many strains out there that'll give you a different feel. And, you know, some people, I don't like sativas. And I'm like, well, maybe you should try a sativa. It'll maybe, like, wake something up in you that you're not comfortable with. You know what I mean? Because that's what it does. Yeah. But, yeah.
No, 100%. So what... So you're talking sativas and stuff. What speaks to you? So you knowing everything now, you having the knowledge and everything where you stand. Maybe what's some of the
What are you chasing?
the best smoke? What's some of the best smoking things you've had? You know,
Jeez,
what you've
man,
loved.
The best smoking things.
Like if
I've
someone was
had.
like, "Hey, I got you the best flower that you've smoked. Your favorite effect, like what would that be?"
Oh man, the best smoke I had. Holy crap! If I were to start with some sativas, you know, it was awesome smoking certain strains like the hazes. You know, shout out to the Hayes brothers, man. LA, man, South Central. Smoking the super silver haze, you know what I mean? You got like the ghost strain haze. Those were like, I didn't really try like amnesia haze. Like Blue Dream was supposed to be on the sativa. Damn, sativa strains, man. That's a good one that comes to my mind.
You need some help. I know one.
Yeah,
I know one that
help
we've
me out,
tried here
help me out.
together.
Yeah.
There's one that we've tried here together.
The Panama Red. Oh, which one?
Oh, I mean that one too.
I guess
That was a crazy
that was a
one.
really
Yeah,
good
and there's so many strains too, like so many
Hey,
names.
dude,
You know what I
Zope.
mean?
That
The
Zope.
Zope. Holy shit, man! What the fuck? That was wild too.
The Zope.
The Zope.
That's all I see. Yeah.
Damn, the Play-Doh. You know, that one was a crazy one. In the streets when I tried the cereal milk, and I'm not particularly talking about sativas. And that's the hard part, is if we were to study, like, sativas are not really common, you know, in certain parts. It's hard to come across like sativas, right? Even then, right? So you want to try to believe the sativa that you get. You know what I mean? If it were a Margie or a Flow White or a Malawi Sunrise or a Green Crack or Alaskan Thunderfuck or
ATF, baby.
ATF, you know what I'm saying? Like, you would hope that pheno is the sativa pheno. You know what I mean? What are some good, like AK-47? You know what I mean? Like, I remember having that one time. One of the craziest strains, actually, now that I recall, was a strawberry cough strain. Now,
What was it?
a strawberry cough.
Strawberry
And that was really insane because I remember the bud structure was so round, and I just remember these red hairy notes coming out. It was red.
Yeah, red hair.
And when I smoked it, it tasted crazy like strawberry, like literal strawberry.
Really?
Shout out to Kyle Cushman, man, while keeping the cut. You know what I mean? The strawberry cough, for real.
Yeah, strawberry cough's fire.
But it rained, you know what I mean, as a backseat. It came out that way. But that was one of the craziest smokes I've had because it was my first year of trying those strains. You know what I mean? AK-47, you know what I mean?
you've heard about before.
Yeah. And then you had like what's that whole strain? It had to do with like, fuck. Bruce Banner, yeah. You know, White Widow, you know what I mean? Like those different strains. You know, the Bruce Banner was crazy because that would be like a common one that I would get from the homie, like, yo, some Bruce Banner. And you're like, oh shit. And you kind of feel crazy when you smoke it because, you know, it's
Hulk out, bro.
Because you feel
Let's
like the
go
Hulk. Yeah,
bro.
You know what I mean? You're going to go, exactly. So that's how, and those were the certain strains that would make me feel like that. And those were kind of the names that I would come across. You know, like those like classic, and then you get your occasional like, oh, this is like Gorilla Glue. You know, and you're like, oh shit, is this shit gonna make me sleepy? And you're like, no. Next minute, sleepy. You know what I mean? But it is what it is. It got so those were like some of the strains, you know, that I.
Is there anything that you're chasing right now?
Oh man, if I could chase, I would chase like some. Actually, where's my phone? I've got some strains written that I want to chase. Oh yeah. One of them is like that Af Gooey, man. The Af Gooey strain.
Bro.
You know what I mean? That mango Af Gooey's pretty crazy. You know what I'm saying? That one sounds pretty tasty.
Oh, that's the second time that strain has come up.
Some of these strains, you know, like the Golden Putang from Mass Medical.
All right. Okay.
Pineapple, a good Pineapple Express. I've tried like a Pineapple Express, the White Diesel, you know what I mean? Like those I want to try like some good, but I don't know how bad they've been watered down, right?
Right. No,
let's see what else. Oh, Colombian Gold, you know, times Jamaican lamb's bread, you know what I mean? Lamb's bread. CC99, you know what I mean? From the Grimm Brothers. Space Queen from them, like that's one of the strains I really want to try. Bodhi
that
seeds,
Space
you know
Queen,
what I mean, with that watermelon hash plant.
Sorry, I cut you off.
Bodhi seeds with that watermelon hash plant, and then I forgot his name. I heard on a podcast the other day, the duck feet one.
Hawaiian duck foot.
Hawaiian duck foot. Yeah, that's that actually tastes like smells like duck feet. Tastes like
So
like
that strain in particular is crazy.
That's already making my mouth water.
Yeah, because from like you were talking about it from like a cultivating standpoint, like it grows different.
It's different. So if you guys are familiar with like the Freak Show cut and it having that really unique ruderalis expression through the leaves.
Yeah.
Duck feet actually, like the leaf formations look like duck feet. And it's one of Hawaii's indigenous strains.
Hawaiian duck feet.
Hawaiian duck foot, yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's the strain, yeah. One of those, and I like to tend to chase the strains that are like, sativas that are like, but also creative. You know what I mean? And land races and heirloom strains and those type of genetics. Those S1s, F1s, the ones that
Northern
are not,
Lights,
Northern Lights, not poly. Yeah, NL, you know, number 5, right?
Yeah.
From 89L5 from, you know, Bodhi.
And he just dropped out across with the runts.
Yeah.
Like,
that Tenzin Kush still looks fucking fire that I want to try, man.
So much, dude. It goes on.
And then
some
Humboldt
DNA
is
genetics too.
DNA and the genetics that for me preferably make me feel creative, you know, and social, because sometimes there's strains that can make you closed off, you know what I mean, and not talkative, you know, and kind of make you introspect and stay focused. But some of those strains that I like are really social, and those are the ones I really want to chase. But also those like sativa ones that are like racy, you know what I mean, energetic, where it's like some people have that paranoia, but for me it's more like, what is the paranoia? You know what I mean? Is it people? Is it how you feel? Is it how people are looking at you? Or is it, you know, and those are the challenges that I also like with smoking, which is why cannabis is that awesome threshold for me to challenge. You know what I mean? What are my limits? Where am I at? Where does my creativity stand? You know what I mean?
He wants his smoke to scare him.
Sometimes, sometimes the dreams are vivid, and then sometimes they're like black like a curtain. You know what I'm saying? And the next thing I'll see my baby and he looks hairy as hell. You know what I'm saying? He ain't even born yet. So you know what I mean? You know, so he looks a smile. You know what I mean? But yeah, those are the certain strains, man. Let's see. What are some good ones?
Dude, that's another part of your life, bro. Freaking a month out from being a dad.
Yep, a month out.
Seeing his son.
Yeah, a month out.
Baby Pulu born.
Yeah.
If you know any good names,
yeah, come on.
send him his way.
Send him, man.
He needs them.
It's crazy, yeah. Wes knows, man, and a bunch of parents out there. You already know, kind of mom, kind of dads, kind of uncles, kind of aunties, kind of grandpas. kind of granddads, grandmas, you know what it
Kinda
is, you know.
consumer.
Yeah, consumer. It's just letting it be part of your daily routine. You know what I mean? Just like you take your antidepressant, just like you would, you know, cut up some ginger root, right, for your foot. You know what I mean? Or some tea. You know what I'm saying? There's always an alleviation, and there's no manual to how we are born on this earth. You know what I mean?
Facts.
So each of us are born with different set of functions and different set of tools and abilities, and you know, some might need a smoke, you know what I mean, because they've been through certain stuff, and some might not, and that's all right, you know what I mean. You were both born with different manuals, and it's all about trying to create that balance, even in your own life. You know what I mean? So yeah, it's helped to create a lot of balance. I don't drink anymore. I mean, I'll consume socially here and there, but I used to drink way heavy. I used to drink way heavy back in the day. If you know, you know, you know, you know. Cases on cases, man. Hitting up a party, walking across
Just
the
a little
street
too
randomly.
much or a lot too much?
A lot too much, you know. A lot too much where it's like, yo, you should be working right now. Why aren't you working? And it's like, man, I'm going to go to work. Don't worry. I'm going to wake up at 7. He's like, you got to be at work in like an hour. And it's like, sleep in the parking lot for work. You know what I mean? And just go when fucked up. You know what I mean? Or it's like knowing that you shouldn't be buying that case. You know what I mean? Because utilities is coming up. You know what I mean? Or it's knowing that you shouldn't black out or drink that cheap ass Jim Beam because it'll turn you up when someone says something wrong. And now your homies are coming at 2 a.m. because you don't banged your head on the window, elbowed the trash can, and now the neighbors are calling you. Now that it didn't happen to me. But it did though, and that's what happened. That's what drinking does, you know what I mean? Rocks is throwing at the neighbors, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Homies just trying to hold me back, you know, things like that, you know. That's what drinking does, you know. But in moderation, some people can handle it. Like I said, everyone's manual is different. You know what I mean? Everyone drives their internal emotions differently. So for me, it's cannabis, you know. And if you're out there and you're trying to come out with it and you're having that struggle, you know what I mean? It's good. You got to have that conversation with yourself. Because no one else is, you know what I mean? You got to own up to it. But it takes time. Take your time, you know what I mean? Life is life, you know, but cannabis has definitely helped to create that. Like, and, you know, nicotine too. I used to do puff bars. I mean, I used to do like the mod bars, you know what I mean? And if you're doing it, hey, shout out. It is what it is, you know what I mean? Nicotine. But, nicotine. If you do those crazy, the big old clouds, you know what I mean? With a big old piano board in your hand.
Or whatever.
If you have a piano board in your hand. But yeah, man. Substances, man. Utah's crazy too with the opioid epidemic too, right? Which is why it's like crazy, huge. You know what I'm saying?
It's huge that you found cannabis and it's a better outlet for you. You know? Over everything else,
So with cannabis, what's your favorite way to consume? Joint, blunts, like glass bongs, pipes.
Yeah.
What's your most favorite way?
Yeah, I would say my most favorite way would have to be.
What do you enjoy the most?
I would have to say a really nice packed doink.
Right?
Yeah, there's something about the essence of getting a whole profile of smoking something so that's ready. You know what I mean? It's like when these cigarette companies manufacture a cigarette for you. You know what I mean? And they douse that first hit. You know what I mean? So when you hit it on that first drag, it's the strongest hit.
Right.
And then they the ratio of them compacting it tightly is to the ratio. So when it burns, it's gonna burn for a while, and they know how long you're gonna burn for. You know what I mean?
That's how you do your joints.
And no, but what I'm saying is I appreciate it to that point when there is a doink. You know, I can see why there's an essence in holding something. You know, like cigars and Cubans and cigars. You know what I mean? Things like that. So take it back to the old school. You know what I mean? A doink. You know what I mean?
Passing it around.
Right.
It's very social.
I do respect that because I do think like
that, you know what I mean? It's
if I had the means, I think if I had the means, I'd be with Sep on that. Yeah. It'd be that or hash holes like every night, you know. Every night it'd be doinks and hash holes, bro.
Yeah,
the social
to the face, bro.
Because you can do so many things. Because once you have a doink, you can roll it in some hash. You can roll it with diamonds. You could add stuff to. You put stuff in it. You could, you know what I mean. There's so many ways.
At that point, I feel like hash is best.
Yeah, you can sprinkle whatever. You know.
But yeah, joints for like versatility is fucking amazing.
On short notice, you know, we'll pipe for show. You know what I mean? To feel the effects, a bong. because I feel like the bong travels the cleanest in the system and hits everything. You know what I mean? Versus like smoke. I don't know.
I like a bong.
You have a good bong?
because
You have a good one?
I feel like I clean it enough to be good.
It's a good. You have a good.
It's a small portable one, but I clean it often though. You know, and, yo, sponsor us. Yo, sponsor UCC out there, man. If you guys got bongs, man, we need bongs if you're good, man.
glass,
Sponsor us,
Oh,
man.
You heard it here. He called himself out. We need glass.
Mm-hmm.
If you're listening, like freaking Boro Syndicate, if you're listening,
If you're a glass
freaking-
maker, man, we'll shout you out,
Yeah,
man.
let's go. Come on, what's up?
We
What's
appreciate
up with some glass?
And I've had my fair share of dropping them too, you know, breaking them, coming out my pocket, my bongs breaking in half. But then
Yeah.
I've throughout the homies, man, I've been exposed to a lot of cool accessories and cool hardware and different types of consumption methods, which has led me to like being around them, rolling proper doinks, being exposed to different actual proper doinks. So shout out to the Proper Doinks page, man, and those guys down there represent, leading me down to those pages. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, joints are great, but I think bong's where it's at. Take that big ass hit. You can put the doink in the bong.
you can put a doink in the bong. I would say next would probably be like a bong. Would be after the doink. Would be bong and
You
then.
still haven't hit my bong, huh?
Uh-uh.
You have.
And you know, hash is like the craziest part because that's
I hit
what I
one
want
of
to
them.
tap into.
No, you
know
hit the
what I
ice
mean?
one.
I hit the
huh?
ice. I was like, I hit one of them.
You hit both
It
of
was
them,
the
right?
ice.
Yeah. My bong's like, I feel like it'd be perfect for sip.
Yo, I have to give a shout out to Greasy. He be going crazy with like their big recycler.
Jeez,
On the
that's
bong?
wild, man. He's like
That's
that.
that's freaking.
That's next
dope.
level. That's love. That's not even next level.
get
That's
there.
that is the level.
We'll get
That's the
there.
standard. Yeah, it's amazing. But yeah, that's the consumption method for sure. That would be my
Oh, yeah.
most favorite. But
Drinks are
you know, I'm
great.
still learning how to roll. Shout out to the homies at UCC, man, for
You do a
always
great job,
showing
dude.
talent, man, and putting in the work to still
Hey, you
keep
gotta
the
roll
culture.
your own. You know what
You know
I'm
what
saying?
I mean? That's how
You
it
forget
is.
you roll your own.
Hey, you know what I mean? And that's how it be like at the house when it
Yeah,
comes
I gotta
desperate. I'm
learn
like,
it.
man,
It's needed.
I got papers.
It's
I don't
needed.
want to go to waste, and then that's when he gets to practice it. You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
It's needed.
Well,
you
Seth,
gotta roll something to get by.
Yeah. Amen. You hear that? Roll something to get by. That should be the new
Matters.
shirt slogan.
Matters.
Hey,
Roll
with that
something to
being
get by.
said, Seth, we're gonna close out this show. Thank you so much
Let's
for
go,
coming
man.
on, bro. We appreciate you, and hopefully we'll get another session where we can dive a little bit more into you. You're a very
Let's
interesting
go, man.
man.
We
and
doing
it's
part
been
2
an
or is this
honor
is this
Many
it?
facets.
getting to meet
Hell
you
yeah, man.
more
You already know.
and like start hearing more in depth about
Definitely
your
do a
story.
part
Yes.
2.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
We appreciate y'all, man. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you for listening. Follow Sepaloni Pulu on Instagram.
Sepaloni
And
Pulu.
Twitter, man. You'll follow on the Twitter, man, because that's legal, man. Follow UCC Utah. What's the tag? What's
Part
the,
2 on the
what's,
way.
What's the Instagram?
Utah.
Instagram is Utah Cannabis Club.
Utah Cannabis Club.
Utah, no dot, no nothing.